though my mug says I love coffee, I actually don't have coffee in this. I don't drink coffee. That probably makes me an anomaly, but this is tea with milk. I love tea with milk. Where are my girlies, where are my pals that drink tea with milk? Because I love it. But lots of people here in the Czech Republic don't understand it. I hate it, so. Where is someone who relates, please? Anyway, if you don't have a cozy drink, maybe grab one, because I don't know, or maybe it depends where you are, really, because right now, here, we're going through a cozy period. It's been raining, it's been colder, I mean, still 20 degrees Celsius, you know, but compared to the 40 degrees and stuff, it's cold. So I've kind of started the cozy mood. I have my lamps put on and everything. I do have an open window because I'm still hot for some reason, so especially because of drinking this. So I hope you don't hear too much weird sounds from outside, but anyway, let's ignore that. I want to welcome you here because I thought I have read lots of books. I love books, or especially loved books in my era of books. That was a lot of books. I just thought that was my speaker dying again. Why does this happen in every video? This happened in my last one too. Anyways, I just thought we could do a bit of a quick fire recommendation of, you know, like, kind of review my bookshelves and tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, what's nice to read, what's not nice to read and stuff like that. Even though most of my bookshelves will be filled with things that I did like reading. I am such a girl that just like hates reading anything that I don't like. Like I have to, like, for me a book is supposed to be a nice experience. It's supposed to be something like, if it's my hobby, it's supposed to be something that I enjoy and not something I endure for like knowledge's sake or something. Not that I get that much knowledge from my books, guys. Just to preview, yeah. I am a romance girly. I'm a romance girly at heart. That is my true identity. So lots of these books are romance, but I also have some detective books, and I started getting into psychological thrillers, which I'm loving, so some of that too. A bit of historical reads too, but mostly romance, yeah? So that's what you have to expect. And I don't know, I think we should just get into it. So, let's start. My plan is, I'm obviously not expecting to go through all of my books in one video. You know, we'll see how much we can manage. I meant this to be quick fire in a sense, like, you know, get a cozy drink, let's do it cozy and slow, but in the sense of like, I'm not gonna be doing deep dives into the books. Most of the time I'm not gonna be really explaining the story arc or anything. First of all, it would be very possible that I'd say some spoilers. Second of all, just like look up the back of the book, you know, because I feel like if that's like information that you can get anyway, why would I tell you? But what you don't know and what could be of any use to you is if I liked it or not, and if I recommend it or not. So that's what I'm going to do. Really going to tell you, read this, read that, don't read that, absolutely do not read that, and stuff like that. So let's do it, I guess. So I forgot to say what I wanted to say. Obviously I'm not expecting to go through all of my books in this video. Let's see how much we can do, but my plan is probably to go through one shelf to another shelf to another shelf and see how we go. By the way, my books are now organized alphabetically. I never used to be the kind of person that would organize their books alphabetically. I remember that in my very first stages of like falling in love with books, I used to organize them as I read them, you know, like the one I read first was in the first place, and then the one I read after that, and after that, and after that, which I feel like is like one of the most wholesome ways to organize your books, because it really like tells the story of how you evolve as a reader, but like just where you went through and stuff like that. But after a time of like reorganizing my shelves for like the 5th time, I'm really a guy. I'm like, I have to tell you guys that I'm really the kind of person that has to like rearrange all of my room once in a while just because like it's fun. So that's what I've done multiple times with my bookshelves, and at some point I think I just kind of decided to do it alphabetically. I don't do it 100% correct. I feel like I just do it according to the first name of the author, because sometimes if it's like an author that is like from France or something, I sometimes don't know what is their actual last name because there's like multiple names or something. Let's not get into that. But it's kind of alphabetically, so sadly it doesn't tell the story of my reading anymore. So it's gonna be kind of random. It's not even based on genre. It's gonna be random, but I feel like that's maybe good for this video because you're really gonna get a scope of things from like different buckets that you might or might not like. Okay, let's get into it. So, very first book, which is funny. This is actually a Czech book, which is like the funniest thing that I can bring out a Czech book for first thing when I expect some Czech listeners probably, but also lots of like international people. I'm sorry, but maybe it's translated. I don't know. But this book, it is great, guys. I really like this book. It is sad also. It's like it gets into the Holocaust and it's like history. It's a story. It's like a story within history. So it's not a happy book. It's a sad book, but to be honest, I really like reading about the Holocaust because I feel like not only you get to know more of history, but it's more like you really get those wholesome stories that are usually very, very, very sad and tragic. But I feel like it just gets it shows you who we are as people, kind of, you know? But I recommend this. I also read this for my Czech maturita, which is our graduation kind of exam. The exams we have to take after we finish middle school here in the Czech Republic. I had this on my list, on my reading list. So if you're from the Czech Republic, definitely recommend you putting this on your list because it's a good book. It's a good book and you'll actually enjoy reading it if you're anything like me. Next one is this one, The Silent Patient. To be honest, I bought this because I thought it would be absolutely amazing. I think it is a psychological thriller. And so I was like, oh my god, this is going to be exciting. It's going to be really like getting to your brain and stuff. For some reason, I don't really remember it that much. And I did not read it that long ago. So I think that kind of tells you something about the book. Like, I think it was interesting when I was reading it. But since I don't remember any of it right now, or I remember like absolutely non-essential moments, I feel like that tells you if it's that much of a good book, you know? Also, just to say, these are all my opinions. So, you know, if someone really loves this book or any of the books, right on you, you're definitely a different reader than I am, and that's totally fine, okay? I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just saying these are my opinions, so. So, I think you definitely know these. This is the Heartstopper series. I love these books, I absolutely love them. I sadly haven't got the last part that just came out yet, sadly. But I'm definitely running to the bookstore to buy it once I have a chance. But I'm really excited about that. But it's great. It's a real like kind of, if you haven't been in touch that much with like LGBTQIA+ reads, I don't know, I don't really feel like such an expert to advise you on like what to start on, but I really love this, and it is really like, it's just wholesome. I feel like it really shows you the heart of like romance and how sweet and adorable and just so real love can mean, even if it is just like in your teenage years or anything, you know? I just feel like these books are literally what it feels like to love and to be loved in these kind of years of your life, you know? So I definitely recommend them. Also, I didn't mention that these are kind of comic books, or what do you even call them? Comic books. There's also a Netflix series, which is also great. I love that as well. So I definitely recommend these. And I have no idea how I'm gonna put them back in the bookshelf. Next, I want to mention this one, The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. I have not yet read the titles and authors for you, so I don't know why I'm starting now, but I want to mention this. I really like this. Also, you can see I have all these tabs. This was in my like booktop girly era. So I like this. I mean, sometimes it kind of makes people laugh when I tell them what it's about, because it's basically like falling in love with your university professor. So it's a bit like, you know, if you're we girlies, pals, we know that in the romance world, this is okay and it is safe and it is not toxic, okay? In the real world, it probably would be, okay? But if you're a true romance fan, you probably know that you would read this and you would enjoy this. Probably. So, I mean, it is a bestseller, so I'm not alone in this. I just liked it. It was romance. I mean, I feel like there are definitely books that I enjoyed more, but I like this a lot. This one. I will find, I think for all the books that are like in Czech, because just to quickly explain, okay? Why is my account full of side notes? You know what? I am going to believe that you've learned to love that about me. I love it about me too. So anyways, for all the books that are in Czech, I'm going to find the English title and everything, because obviously if you're not from the Czech Republic or don't speak Czech, you're just not going to read it in Czech. So obviously. But what I wanted to say is just also about my book journey is the fact I am bilingual. It is a bit complicated. I mean, when I first started reading, I primarily read in Czech, especially because that's the language that I functioned in at school and stuff. So it's just easier for me to read in Czech. So all of the books that I read in my first period of reading are usually in Czech, and it's usually English/American books translated into Czech, because that's where all the good books are, guys. I'm sorry, but I have to say, I have to double check myself, but I think I haven't read a really good book from my genre that was originally in Czech. But maybe that's just like me not being educated, you know, maybe I just haven't come across that book, but it hasn't happened to me yet. So anyway, so some of my books are in Czech, and then there's a big switch when I started to read in English, and I just loved it much more, because obviously the original is usually much better to read in the original language. So then suddenly it's English. But anyway, this book it's going to be named something like It's Only 27 Days or something. I love this book. I read this 3 times, and that's what to say, guys, because I'm not really a rereader. I mean, I have to say that I really want to read my books again. I mean, I've been wanting to read multiple of my books again, because I just want to have that experience again and just like love them and stuff, and don't remember some of them, so I just really want to have that recap. But I just don't have the time, because my TBR is already long enough. So I think I kind of promised myself that I'm going to finish my TBR and then maybe think about rereading some books. But I feel like once I finish my TBR, I'm going to be so excited that I can finally buy a new book, that I'll just buy a new book, you know. Anyway, I read this 3 times. I mean, I think it was especially because I first read it from the library. I borrowed it from the library, loved it, decided I had to buy it, because I'm sorry, I'm not a library gal. I have to have all my books as little souvenirs on my shelf, and so that I can reread them anytime. I mean, I'm happy to lend you some of my books. I'm happy to be a library myself, but I don't really want to read library books, because I feel like I read it and then it's gone forever. I don't want that. I want that to be my little story. So I had to buy it, and then I felt like, well, I can't just have a random book on my shelf that I haven't read. So I read it again, just to make sure that this actual physical book was the one I read. I just really enjoyed it. Just a big speed run. It's basically about a girl that is given 27 days to kind of try and persuade a guy from her school to not commit suicide. Which, when I say it like that, it kind of sounds gonna be depressing or like sad. It is not, guys. It is like, you know, she's given 27 days. For some reason, I don't really remember why, she or whatever, but she's given 27 days to try and persuade him that life is worth living. And then they kind of fall in love, you know. And it is really like a genuine, it's just a really good book idea, and it's just really a good book. And I just loved it. And it's just really wholesome, and I feel like it's more about how life can be exciting. I guess. I don't know. It's not that depressing, guys. It's really wholesome and lovely, okay? This is a Christmas read. Don't really remember it. But what I do remember of this is that I feel like it wasn't that good. Like, it was fine, I guess, because it was romance, but I was like, I don't really want to read it again. Don't remember what it was about, really. And it was just like, okay. I feel like when I was reading this, I was like, okay, sweet, but if I could get it on 10 pages, it would be great, and then I could move on to the next book, you know? So don't really recommend this. This one, do I remember this one? I feel like I'm really gonna humble myself, because I'm gonna tell you how many books I don't remember reading, which is sad, to be honest. Especially as a book lover. But I feel like if you are a book lover, you just have to make grace. And I feel like you have to kind of come to terms with the fact that you will not remember some reads eventually. Like, you know, like, if it's not your favorite read or one of those really good books, you're just gonna forget it eventually. Anyway, I don't really remember this. Obviously from the LGBTQIA world. I think it was sweet and I think I liked it, but I don't really remember much of it. I think it was just like this like romantic sweet book, you know? I don't think it was like amazing, I'm gonna drop down on my knees love, but it was just like, it was like a rom-com vibes, I think, you know? This, I have to say, really surprised me. I randomly got this from my grandma and I actually really liked it, which I'm not used to. I feel like when I don't choose the books myself, oftentimes I get books from like my relatives and stuff that I just don't like in the end. But this one was really good. Don't remember much of it anymore, but I really remember that I was surprised by it and really like was pleased by it, with it. So these are two books by the same author. First one I read was this one, which, like, even if you just see the cover, I mean, you had to pick up that book now, didn't you? And then this one. I remember much more of this one. I feel like I really like this. I kind of struggled a bit with the fact that it's just this thick. You know, it has like, I don't know, 500 pages. I don't know. Let me check. Okay, 400 pages, but it was like, I am a gal that I really need fast pace, guys. I really need fast-paced books because if they're kind of taking long, I will just not be excited to read it and I will just lose patience, really. And it will very soon become a chore for me that I have to do, like finish reading it rather than enjoying it. So I was struggling a bit with this because obviously because it's so thick, the storyline is kind of a bit slower, but I did really like it. It was really interesting because it was just like, I mean, it's called The Roommate. I don't know if that's in English, probably it's The Roommate, but really it's about, you know, roommates that fall in love with each other, and at first they just kind of like fall in love through leaving sticky notes around the flat or whatever about like stuff, and it's just sweet and it's really nice. So I enjoyed this, but you can see by like my annotations, which are mostly at the second half of the book, is it just like the first half was like, okay, but where are we going with this? And then the second half was like, oh my god, yes, you know, because it already got that point. This one, I think I liked it. I think it's more like small town vibes, but I feel like I like this one more. But I think this wasn't bad either. Guys, I want to apologize. I'm just kind of starting to realize that I really don't remember lots of stuff. But that's what I meant by this video. Like I wasn't going to be doing a deep dive on the books. The point of this video is to just do a quick speed run, tell you my, even if it is just like randomest feeling that I feel towards this book, I'm gonna tell you. And you know, even if you like doesn't give you much, if you've never heard of this book, maybe it will just like show you never a new book to read, you know. I don't know, just like make peace with this. I'm sorry guys. But I feel like once we get to books that I actually remember more, it's gonna be more exciting probably. Then obviously I read this. Okay, I should have just taken. Obviously this, all by the same author by the way. This and this. Yeah. So first I obviously read this. I really like this. I think this had like a good idea to start. And again, it's all romance, guys. A bit more of a slow burn, not a mega slow burn because I wouldn't read that, but it was like, wasn't the most exciting romance, or like smut wise there's nothing I think, but it was sweet. I really like this one. Then I read this one because this is like kind of a continuation of the first one. It's kind of, I think this one is like about a different couple in their friend group or something like that, and then the same goes for this. But I think there's like a fourth one that came out, which is again, I think it's in these colors this time. You can notice that these are like kind of switched, you know, but so I feel like the fourth one was like in these colors, but you can tell that like I didn't buy the fourth one because like I wasn't excited about this one anymore that much. I think I like the most I like this one, I think, but again, I don't remember that much. Another fic collection. So this is, I feel like if you go through the romance section in the bookshop, you're gonna see this because it's like, you know, and it also, even only the title straight away tells you that it's a romance book and that maybe you should look at it, you know, because it's basically, I think in English it's like a kiss in New York, a kiss in Paris, a kiss in Rome, a kiss in London, and a kiss in Palm Springs. By the way, I do have another such book in my TBR, which, do not ask me what this is in English, but I also have this in my TBR. I think just the fact that it is still in my TBR and I haven't run to read it kind of tells you something. So what I want to say is that I really like these books. When I was reading these, again, they're in Czech, so it's my very early stages of reading, I really like this. So let's think a very young Aneshka, yeah? I was like in my first teen years or something when I was reading this, I think. And I really enjoyed it at the time. I felt like it was great. Like, I mean, obviously, because otherwise why would I buy the rest of them? But I read the initial series. I think this is all like a Christmas series, and then this is supposed to be like a summer series, the rest. I think there's another one that came out or something, I don't know. But I read all of these Christmas series in that era, And then later on, when this came out, I was like, oh my god, yes, I read those, so I should enjoy this. So I bought this as well, and then that one. But then when I read this, I kind of realized that also, obviously, I can't really compare if it's like how the author evolved or her writing evolved. Maybe it's like too much the same thing again, but I really can't tell, because there was just like such a gap between like me reading this and this, that I feel like maybe it's more like I just outgrew these books. You know, I just feel like this is something that you might really enjoy if you're like a teenage girl but like is really into romance and like sweet things and stuff, and you'll enjoy this. But then once you've read like things like It Ends With Us, or I don't know, just different types of reads, then I outgrew this really, and I don't really think I want to read that one in my TBR anymore, so I might get rid of that, sadly. But yeah. Then there's this one, which I have to say I really enjoyed this one. I really like this one. You can see the tabs again. Again, sadly, I don't remember. Actually, I do remember some. I feel like sometimes when you haven't read a book for a long time, it's just like you look at it and you're like, I have no idea what this is, and then kind of small moments kind of come back to you. I think if I were to describe the tale, the title suffices. You know, it's just, I think it's like a girl that believes romance isn't for her or something, and then a girl that kind of tells her, I'm gonna show you what romance is like or something, I don't know. And then they go on like dates, which are supposed to be, haha, we're just like friends and I'm just like showing you what the ideal person would do for you or something. And then they fall in love with each other. So sweet, liked it. Obviously, we had to talk about this. Obviously. This is Colleen Hoover, guys. Obviously, if you read, you have heard of her. You just have. And I have mixed feelings about her as of right now. So, first of all, I think the very first book I read was this, like from her, not ever by her, was this. And I love this. I will 100% recommend this. I feel like some people have beef with this book or something, or maybe with a film, but I love this book. It's great, it's well thought out, and it has a nice message. It does have some trigger warnings, I think, which I'm not gonna get into right now, but I love this. And then obviously it has a continuation, even though this is maybe before that. Why do I not remember this one? I am kind of sorry to say that I do not remember this one, but I do remember that I liked it a lot too. Like, these two are great. So, I don't know why I don't remember it. Also, why is it a different format? So, this time I think my not remembering this just doesn't speak for anything. I think it's just because I also saw the movie, which is just about this part. So, I just remember this much more than this, but I don't know. I recommend. Then I read this. Also recommend. Also really loved. There's some smut here for my girlies, you know. Really like this. Then I think I read this. Kind of goes downhill, but I feel like this, the problem why I didn't enjoy this that much is because this is for a different category of readers, I think. I think that one is really like more for, what is it called? Like the category of readers that is like early adults or something, I don't know, or like actually like adult-y people, I don't know. And this one is actually young adult, so it's more like teenage, I feel like this is the target audience for this is more teenage readers, and since I wasn't a teenage reader, or I mean I am still a teenager technically, but I'm also kind of an adult, because I just wasn't the right age group for this, I didn't enjoy it that much. it just was a bit, I mean, it also was nice and it had a nice message, but it was just like, I would not read this anymore. I mean, if you really enjoyed It Ends With Us, for example, just expect that this is for like a younger reader. I don't know. Then I read this one, which for some reason I don't remember that much. Actually, I do a bit. Just going off my feelings and not really remembering this book, or kind of remembering this book. It was good, it was interesting, but nowhere near It Ends With Us and Ugly Love. But that's just my feeling. Then I read this, which I had to pick out because of the cover, because like I love the design. But I have to say this is a bit weird. It was interesting to read. Wouldn't read it again probably. It goes into like ghosts and kind of that kind of vibe. So, I mean, there is like an interesting dilemma that the character goes through, which truly is interesting, but it just like, I wasn't really expecting that. I guess it was interesting though. I'm just saying, I think I won't read it again, but I guess it was like worth reading. But again, nowhere near It Ends With Us and Ugly Love. This is the first part, this is the second part. I think there might be more parts that came out. But again, I have to say, I read this when I was younger. And I mean, I think I liked it, but it wasn't like a wow kind of book, you know? Also, my forever struggle is that I like the idea of reading fantasy, but I just could never probably read fantasy, because most of fantasy, even if there's like a romantic line in it, usually the romantic line is kind of sidetracked, or like the biggest reveal ever is like they hold hands or something in the end or something, or like share an apple. Which, again, I am a romance girl, so that's just not enough for me. And I feel like my biggest beef with fantasy is that it is usually just like slow going. It has a slower pace. Some people love it. Like, for example, my boyfriend loves it, and he always tells me that it's like, it's the slow build up, that like the ending is so epic in the end because you have all of this information, you've lived with this book and everything, which I totally respect. It's just that I could never do that, really. I just have it to be, I have to have my book quick pace, and for it, like, for each time I open the book, for it to be exciting, or like almost each time, which kind of sounds snobbish, I feel, but I don't know. But I feel like this is kind of trying to be halfway fantasy and halfway romance, I think, or what I remember. I don't know, what I remember is like, I think this book was like, but I guess not again. I don't know, this is just me going off my feelings, and I wouldn't recommend for older readers. I think this is even like in a category of really younger readers, so maybe for your kid, I don't know. Guys, I feel like this has been like 5 minutes, especially I feel like because I just went through like one of the shelves in my bookshelf, which is sad, but I have just reviewed the footage and I have lots of footage already. It's like a full-on half an hour at least. So I'm contemplating whether anyone's gonna like this video or not. It is, I mean, I feel like it's true to the title. It was pretty quick fire, but not that thorough. So I don't know, I hope like someone notices, or I don't chicken out and just like don't post it maybe. Anyways, just thanks for being here with me. If you like this, please let me know, because I feel like I am going to be very skeptical about this video. Maybe that will change once I edit this, but I feel like I'm gonna be feeling more like no one's gonna like this. But so let me know if you do, because if you do, I'm gonna continue throughout my all of my bookshelves and let you know about all of the books I read. And if you want a quick sneak peek, I mean, there are some exciting reads here. I feel like the first bookshelf wasn't that exciting, because there just wasn't so many of the books that I really loved, and I feel like that's something that might come more in the future, but this has just been my quickfire read kind of thing. So thanks for being here, and I love you guys. By the way, just a quick side note before we go, I am so excited that you guys are just like coming in. I think at the moment I have 22 subscribers, which is like, it's amazing. I'm so happy you're here. Also, shout out for my first comment. Maybe this was a bit too much, but I'm really excited. I mean, you know who you are. You dropped down the first comment, and I'm so grateful for you. It made me so happy. I mean, a bit nervous too, because I feel like once the comments start, I'm a bit nervous that I will get like some negative comments, which I really don't want. I mean, like, if you don't like my content, just ignore me. Just ignore me rather than like tell me hateful stuff. But you know, so I'm a bit nervous about it, but I'm 100% excited. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that I got my first comment, and like a comment that really shows that someone really enjoys my videos. So that really excited me. So thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next one.